It may look like pocket change, but some rare Australian 5 cents coins are worth a fortune. Don't spend it before you watch this. You could be holding on to thousands. Let HD Old Coins 51 show you what to look for. Episode 1. In the quiet hum of daily transactions, nestled among the spare change that jingles in pockets and falls between car seats, lies a coin that many Australians have long taken for granted, the humble 5 cents. But in 1999, something extraordinary was quietly minted at the Royal Australian Mint. A coin so small, yet so significant, it would one day draw the attention of numismatists and collectors from around the world. This wasn't just any ordinary coin. It was the 1999 Australia 5 cents piece, a tiny silver-colored disc with a story far larger than its size. The year 1999 was a time of transition. Australia, like many parts of the world, was preparing for the new millennium. The Y2K bug loomed in the background. Technology was advancing rapidly, and the digital age was beginning to bloom. But in the midst of that buzz, the Royal Australian Mint was quietly continuing its role, producing the coins that keep the nation's commerce flowing. For the average citizen, the 5-cent coin was merely something to hand to a cashier without a second thought. But to a sharp-eyed collector, the 1999 mintage held more intrigue than met the EYE.at first glance. The coin appears unassuming. It bears the standard reverse design by Stuart Devlin, depicting the iconic short-beaked echidna, a shy, burrowing creature unique to Australia. With its spiny body curled into a defensive ball, the echidna sits atop a neatly spaced 5, its tiny claws and beady eyes staring out at the world. It's the same design seen on every 5-cent coin since decimalization in 1966. Yet, there's something deeper that makes this particular year a standout. Turn the coin over, and you're greeted with the familiar profile of Queen Elizabeth II, elegantly designed by Ian Rank Broadley. This was the first year his portrait graced Australian coinage, replacing the Raphael Makhlouf effigy that had defined coins since 1985. That change alone marked 1999 as a turning point. The Queen, in Rank Broadley's depiction, was more mature, more regal, and perhaps more intimately real. No crown, no artificial glamour, just a strong sovereign figure, commanding yet serene. But even that update, monumental though it was for numismatists, wasn't the only factor making this coin a modern marvel in disguise. Behind the scenes at the Royal Australian Mint, the 1999 5-cent coin became part of a quiet anomaly. That year, production numbers dipped. Only 68 million of these coins were struck, an impressive number in isolation, but a comparative drop when viewed against years prior and after. To put it into perspective, in 1994, for instance, over 138 million 5-cent coins were minted. The 1999 total was less than half of that. Such a significant dip, unnoticed by the public at the time, would eventually set this year's coin apart as one to watch. Collectors began to take note. Fast forward 2 decades later, and whispers of the 1999 5-cent coin's rising value began circulating in the coin collecting community. What was once overlooked and often discarded in tip jars or under couch cushions was now showing up at auctions and private sales. The coin, particularly in uncirculated or proof condition, began commanding premiums. In 2021, a gleaming specimen graded as MS67 by PCGS made headlines at a private auction in Sydney. The final hammer price? $210 Australian dollars, a jaw-dropping sum for a coin worth just 5 cents in legal tender. A near-pristine 1999 5-cent coin, nestled in a transparent slab with its grade sealed in authority, had become a prized collector's item. Other examples soon followed. In 2023, a stunning coin with full luster and minimal contact marks appeared at a coin show in Brisbane, sold for 175 Australian dollars to a private buyer. Not long after, a small Melbourne-based auction house recorded a rare proof set from 1999 containing the coveted 5-cent piece, this time fetching 460 Australian dollars for the entire ensemble. The small silver coin, once slipped into vending machines and lost in laundromats, was now claiming a rightful place in velvet-lined cases and collectors' safes. But it wasn't just rarity or mintage numbers that fueled the hype. There was also talk of variations. A handful of 1999 5-cent coins appeared to show striking anomalies, minor die cracks, slight doubling, and off-center strikes. For the eagle-eyed numismatist, these minting quirks were gold. Every small variation added a layer of mystique and boosted potential value. With only limited verified examples, these error coins entered a realm far beyond casual collecting. They became treasures. One such error coin surfaced in Perth in 2024, an off-center strike with 5% shift, featuring a distinct rim distortion. After a fierce bidding war online, the coin was sold through Downey's auctions for a notable $530 AUD. Suddenly, the 1999 5-cent coin wasn't just desirable, it was headline-worthy. And yet, for many collectors, the true allure wasn't just the money. It was the story of how something so seemingly insignificant, a coin smaller than a thumbnail, made of cupronickel, mass-produced, could transform into a sought-after artifact of a passing era. It was about discovery, history, and the satisfaction of uncovering a hidden gem in a sea of sameness. As the years rolled on, the legend of the 1999 Australia 5-cent coin only grew. Coin forums buzzed with speculation. YouTubers and collectors shared videos, slowly turning this small piece of metal into an internet sensation. Viewers from around the world began checking their own change jars, hoping to stumble upon the elusive coin. Some found them. Most didn't. And that scarcity only added to the allure. So the next time your hand brushes against a few old coins in a drawer, or you hear the jingle of forgotten change in your car's center console, take a moment. Look closely. There might be a 1999 5-cent coin staring back at you, with its spiny echidna and regal queen. And if it's in the right condition, you just might be holding on to more than just 5 cents. You could be holding history. Episode 2. Have you ever looked at a tiny coin and wondered how something so small could ever be worth hundreds, sometimes even thousands of dollars? Imagine digging through your change jar, casually flipping over a coin no bigger than your fingernail, and realizing you might be holding onto a fortune. Well, brace yourself. Because the 2005 Australia 5-cent coin, yes, that small silvery sliver of metal that most people ignore, has stunned collectors and turned ordinary folks into lucky treasure hunters. And today, we're about to unlock its full story. It all begins with a sound. The metallic clink of coins dropping into a vending machine. Most people don't think twice. They insert their coins, grab a drink or snack, and move on. But among these unassuming pocket pieces, a rare few hide in plain sight, like the 2005 Australia 5-cent coin, which has quietly climbed the ranks in the numismatic world. This isn't just about the metal. It's about a coin that slipped under the radar, until now. The journey of this 5-cent piece starts in a country known for its kangaroos, outback adventures, and sprawling deserts. In 2005, the Royal Australian Mint continued its standard issue of coins, just as it had done for decades. Nothing seemed extraordinary at first. The 5 cents bore the same echidna design that Australians had grown used to since decimalisation in 1966. The obverse still featured the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, facing right as she always had. To the untrained eye, it was business as usual. But behind the scenes, in the vaults of the Mint, among the buzz of presses and inspection tables, something slipped through the cracks. Not a mistake per se, but a difference, a nuance, a deviation. And those subtle details would go on to create a storm in the collecting world years later. You see, the 2005 5-cent coin is part of a year with relatively low collector interest at first. That year, no commemorative 5-cent pieces were struck. The mintage, as recorded, was business as usual. Around 82.4 million coins rolled off the presses, plenty to go around. Or so it seemed. But rarity doesn't always begin with a mintage number. Sometimes it begins with condition, strike quality, minting errors, or simply mystery. A whisper began in coin shows and online auctions around 2015. Collectors started noticing something odd. Among the flood of everyday coins, a few 2005 5-cent pieces began showing up with mirror-like fields and ultra-sharp details. Not your average circulation strikes. These had a proof-like appearance, though they were not from proof sets. Then, even stranger reports surfaced: coins with broad strikes, off-center errors, or missing elements. And it didn't take long before those whispers turned into frenzied bidding wars. In July 2022, an ultra-rare 2005 5-cent coin featuring a dramatic die clash, where the obverse and reverse designs had been imprinted faintly over each other due to a minting error, went under the hammer at the prestigious Downey's Australian coin auctions in Sydney. The coin, encapsulated and graded MS66 by PCGS, fetched an astonishing 1,250 Australian dollars. For a coin that cost mere cents to produce, the jump in value stunned even the most seasoned dealers. But it didn't stop there. Other variants started appearing on auction sites like Noble Numismatics, with clean, sharp strikes and exceptional luster, commanding $300, $500, and even $850 depending on quality and certification. Collectors now scrambled to recheck their old jars, to revisit their coin folders, to hunt what might have once seemed forgettable. Suddenly, the 2005 5 cents became a symbol, not just of rarity, but of potential. The idea that anyone, anywhere, might unknowingly possess a piece of numismatic gold disguised in nickel-plated copper. The coin's design remained consistent with tradition. The iconic echidna, a monotreme native to Australia, had always been a staple on the 5-cent piece. Its intricate spikes, tiny snout, and clawed feet offered one of the most detailed coin designs in Australian currency history. But on select 2005 issues, those features appeared unusually bold, as though the dies used were freshly polished, or the strikes were given more pressure. A collector's eye could catch it instantly: the depth of the details, the clarity around the lettering, the satiny fields untouched by circulation wear. These weren't just coins. They were survivors, hidden gems, and of course, on the obverse, Queen Elizabeth II's portrait, still youthful, still dignified, cast in strong relief, with crisp legends reading Elizabeth II Australia 2005. But even this side had its variations. Some coins showed slight doubling on the Queen's tiara, an effect of die deterioration or misalignment during minting. For error collectors, such a quirk was a jackpot. But why is this coin suddenly so desirable? The answer is layered. It's part psychology, part scarcity, and part spectacle. For one, the modern era has seen a boom in micro-collecting, people focusing not just on old gold coins or ancient rarities, but on pocket change with a story. Secondly, the rise of digital auctions and third-party grading has allowed even obscure coins to find the spotlight. A seller from Perth posted a high-grade 2005 5 cents with die cracks, and within 24 hours, saw a bidding war that ended at 790 Australian dollars. The kicker? The coin had been sitting in a drawer for 17 years. This is where greed enters the game, and not in a bad way. Call it treasure fever, if you will, because the lure of turning small change into big bucks is irresistible. And the 2005 5-cent coin represents that fantasy in tangible form. It's not just a piece of metal, it's a lottery ticket. A lottery where knowledge, not luck, is the winning number. But as we journey further, we'll explore the specifics: what makes certain 2005 coins more valuable than others. Is it about errors? Is it about condition? How can one tell the difference between an ordinary 5-cent piece and one that could change your bank account? And most importantly, how can you find one? As this story unfolds, we'll uncover more examples, like the brilliant uncirculated coin sold by a Melbourne collector in 2023 for 1,100 Australian dollars through a private dealer network, or the PCGS MS67 specimen that made headlines on eBay Australia when it crossed the 900 Australian dollar mark. Each coin has a backstory. Each sale adds fuel to the fire. And with every passing month, the legend of the 2005 Australia 5 cents coin grows. So sit tight, because this isn't just a numismatic story. It's a coin-fueled adventure, a dive into minting mysteries, auction house drama, and collector obsession. And by the time we're done, you'll never look at your spare change the same way again. Episode 3. In the realm of coin collecting, sometimes it's the smallest denomination that hides the greatest mysteries, the quietest voices that tell the richest tales. So today, we journey into the world of Australian coinage, not to gaze upon a golden crown or a silver dollar, but to focus our collector's eye on something far more modest, yet surprisingly valuable. A coin that weighs just under 3 grams, fits easily in your palm, and rarely catches a second glance. And yet, the 2006 Australia 5 cents coin has become a dark horse in the global numismatic race, creating ripples in collector markets and auction rooms alike. Imagine this. You're going through your change. Maybe after buying a coffee in downtown Sydney or grabbing snacks from a corner store in Perth. There it is. A small, silver-toned coin, resting in your palm like just another piece of metal. But what if I told you that exact coin, the one you may have spent without a thought back in 2006, could today fetch hundreds, maybe thousands, of dollars at auction? It's a coin that embodies Australian resilience, design precision, and minting mastery. The 2006 issue wasn't a commemorative release. There was no royal anniversary, no Olympic celebration. Just a regular coin minted for regular people. But therein lies its appeal. Because among those regular coins lie the anomalies, the errors, the low-mintage runs, the off-strike miracles, each one a tiny accident of history that collectors crave. To understand the allure of the 2006 5 cents coin, we must go back. Not to 2006, but much earlier. The 5 cents coin was introduced in 1966, the year Australia transitioned to decimal currency. It replaced the old sixpence and adopted a size and weight that mirrored its predecessor. The reverse, designed by Stuart Devlin, features the unmistakable echidna, a spiny anteater native to Australia, captured in a design that perfectly blends charm and artistic geometry. The obverse features Queen Elizabeth II in regal profile, as was tradition. By 2006, Australians had grown used to this little coin. It was, in every sense, unremarkable. But something strange happened that year. The Royal Australian Mint produced just over 79 million of these coins, seemingly a high number. But buried within this massive mintage were errors. And not just any errors, rare varieties that collectors go wild for. Double strikes, broad strikes, coins with missing edge milling, and even those struck slightly off-center. And then, of course, there are the low-grade test coins, pieces that may have been trialed and never meant for circulation but found their way into pockets, purses, and eventually collections. Collectors began noticing slight differences. A coin that appeared slightly fatter, another with double text, or one where the queen's head seemed to shimmer oddly under light. These were not tricks of the eye, but legitimate mint errors, some known, others still being discovered to this day. And the market began to respond. In 2021, a pristine 2006 Australia 5 cents coin with a dramatic off-center strike was sold by Downey's Australian Coin Auctions in Melbourne. Final price? A staggering 720 Australian dollars. Not bad for something that once bought a gumball. Another example, with a double-struck obverse and weak edge milling, went under the hammer in Brisbane for 485 Australian dollars. And in 2023, a collector from Adelaide reportedly sold a mirror-like proof error of the 2006 5 cents for 1,150 Australian dollars in a private Facebook numismatics group, a quiet deal. No auctioneer, just whispers and excitement within the tight-knit Aussie coin community. The question, of course, is why? Why would anyone pay this much for a tiny piece of cupronickel weighing just 2.83 grams? The answer lies in rarity, condition, and story. These coins are time travelers, pocket-sized artifacts of economic history. While millions were made, only a small fraction bear the imperfections that make them valuable. It's the numismatic equivalent of a misprinted stamp or a rare baseball card, an error that slipped through quality control and into the hands of someone lucky enough to notice. Collectors aren't just buying metal, they're buying mystery, scarcity, the thrill of the hunt. And the 2006 5 cents coin delivers all of that in spades. It sits quietly in albums, plastic slabs, and velvet boxes, waiting to tell its story. Whether discovered in a jar of spare change or purchased at auction, it has a way of surprising even seasoned numismatists. In 2006, inflation was beginning to rise in Australia, and the value of smaller denominations was being debated. Many wondered if the 5-cent coin would be phased out. The Reserve Bank of Australia even conducted internal reviews about the practicality of continuing such low-value coinage. Could this uncertainty have impacted minting protocols? Could experiments or hasty production choices be behind the rare varieties we now see? It's all speculation, but deliciously compelling for the collector's imagination. Now let's talk design. On the obverse, the Ian Rank Broadley portrait of Queen Elizabeth II dominates, a more mature and stately depiction than previous effigies. Her Majesty is rendered with incredible detail, down to the individual strands of hair. On well-preserved coins, her expression remains calm and firm, a silent observer of the era's economic tides. Flip the coin, and you're greeted by the delightful image of the echidna, coiled defensively in its spiky glory. Its tiny nose juts forward, two paws curled in, framed by an array of quills. It's a masterclass in artistic detail. On many 2006 coins, the echidna remains sharp and symmetrical. But on error coins, sometimes the paws blur, the nose elongates slightly, or the quills appear fainter, clues that make collector hearts race. The coin's diameter, 19.41 millimeters, is almost symbolic. Small, but not invisible. And its thickness, 1.3 millimeters, is just enough to lend it substance without weight. A metaphor, perhaps, for its status in the collecting world. Often overlooked. Until it isn't. Among collectors, the term cherry-picking refers to finding these rare variants in bulk coin lots or dealer bins. And the 2006 5-cent coin is a cherry-picker's dream. Stories abound of hobbyists grabbing handfuls of coins at flea markets or estate sales, only to discover that one shimmering anomaly among them, a mistake that escaped the mint, now worth hundreds. And let's not forget the proof versions. Though not officially released for circulation, the Royal Australian Mint did issue proof sets in 2006 that included a flawless 5-cent coin. These coins are struck multiple times on specially prepared blanks, creating mirror-like fields and frosted reliefs. Collectors seek these out not for error, but for perfection. And when a proof coin somehow bears an error, double die, strike through, or planchet flaw, it's like winning the coin lottery. Private collectors and auction houses aren't the only ones paying attention. Numismatic institutions across Australia have begun cataloging the known variants of the 2006 coin. And every year, more discoveries are added. An off-metal strike? A die clash with dramatic results? Each one adds to the lore, the legend of this tiny yet powerful coin. Whether you're new to coin collecting or a veteran of the numismatic trenches, the 2006 Australia 5-cent coin offers a lesson. Never underestimate the humble. Never overlook the ordinary. Because sometimes, the most astonishing value lies in what we ignore. So check your drawers. Open that piggy bank. Dig through that forgotten jar in the garage. Because the next great coin find could be hiding in plain sight. And when you do find it, whether it's a flawless proof or a dramatic mint error, know this. You're not just holding a coin. You're holding a moment in time. A relic of Australian craftsmanship. A spark of numismatic gold in a sea of silver. And that, my friends, is what makes the 2006 Australia 5-cent coin not just collectible, but legendary.